Who is ready to read some stories and die inside? I know I am. Welcome everyone to the Reaction Sleepover. This is where we get cozy and we react to stuff. Today we're doing Bridezillas and other Weddingzillas. Bring on the misery. So grab your blankies and snackies and let's get ready for misery. Am I the a-hole for not telling my wife to tone down her dancing at our wedding? My wife, 29 female, and I, 29 male, got married last weekend. We've been together since first year of uni and got married on the 10-year anniversary of the day I asked her to be my girlfriend. We've grown up together, got through thick and thin, and I know there's no one else I want to spend my life with. For context, my wife is half Spanish, and we incorporated a lot of Spanish traditions into our wedding. It also meant that, with all our family there, the reception turned into quite the party. I was pretty tired after dancing for a while, so I went to sit and talk with my family, whilst my wife kept dancing with her cousins and friends. After a bit of chatting, my mom and aunt essentially told me that they weren't too pleased with my wife's dancing to songs like Low and Sexy Back, saying that her drops and wiggling her bottom like that weren't appropriate on her wedding day and were disrespectful to me. It's her wedding. Back off, wenches. She can dance however she wants. To be honest, I didn't see anything wrong with the way she was dancing. Same. It was nothing more than I think any person would dance to songs like that in the club when they were having fun and had a couple drinks, and I told them as such. They said I should tell her to tone it down. It's her wedding! But she was having fun with her friends and I didn't see anything gratuitous about it, nor was she super drunk, so I told her it wasn't my place. I ended up wrapping up the party soon afterwards anyway, since you've already ruined it. The morning after, we had breakfast with my family and my aunt mentioned to my wife she was pleased that I eventually got her to tone down the fiesta. You should tone down the rudeness. My wife asked what she meant by that, and my mom told her about the conversation from last night. My wife has told me about this. I was talking to my dad and uncle at the time and didn't hear. My wife apologized for enjoying yourself, but was then very quiet for the rest of the day. And when we left the hotel, she was very upset with me, saying I should have told her that she had offended my family, and that she was humiliated that I hadn't told her anything about it on the night like my aunt had assumed. I get the humiliation part, but she shouldn't have to feel humiliated. That's stupid. I was sorry that she was humiliated, but I was not sorry that I hadn't told her to tone it down, because in my opinion, she didn't do anything wrong. She still thinks I should have just told her because now she won't have a good relationship with her in-laws. Because you were dancing? She doesn't have a good one with her parents. I'm mad at my mom and aunt and want them to apologize to us, but she refuses to bring it up with them and wants to apologize again to them when they come over this weekend. You should not! I want to stand up for her because I think they're being incredibly rude, but she doesn't want that and she just wants to mend bridges. She's still upset with me because I don't see it her way and because I'm not sorry that I didn't tell her, so am I the a-hole? So I understand the frustration of like, it could have been nice to like still have that communicated, to at least be aware of it. Like, at least to be like, hey, my mom and my aunt think you're being inappropriate with your dancing. How dumb is that? You know, that might be nice to know. But like, overall, I agree with the rest of Reddit that I don't think he is. That is unfortunate. But it's like, even communicating with her, that's a pretty light, a very, 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 very watered down, even slight possibility of like, hey, kind of not cool if you didn't talk to her. But again, only for the purpose of like, her just being aware of it. Because I get the like embarrassment of I wasn't even aware. You and your wife are not the a-hole. Your family is so controlling and rude that when going to you didn't work, they told her to her face that she danced provocatively and pretended you did what they told you. This needs to stop immediately. You need to stand up for her and give them serious consequences. Otherwise, they will continue throughout your relationship. Yeah, bruh. They did nothing wrong. Guestzillas! All because my dad is missing the rehearsal dinner. That's really sad. Siblings' weddings were missed for work. Really sad. Priorities aren't in the right place. I mean, if you have to work, because it's not always easy to get work off. I get it's the business, but don't have work and family mixed then. I'm very upset and finally letting everyone know because I've been letting things slide for long enough. There's something wrong with the broadcasting then if there can't be replacements. People will feel regrets on their deathbed looking back that they worked instead of being with family or once in a lifetime events. So I guess a sibling missed a wedding because they were at work and we don't know the context of why. Because if they purposefully missed it, like, yeah, that's a shame. Like, I could see why she'd be upset. But, you know, if it's the case of they did their best but still couldn't, and then if you're berating them for still missing your wedding, they still tried. Assuming that this is, you know, someone who just could not go to the wedding and you berate them for it, Kind of wenchy, my dude. Broadcasting is not like a regular job. There aren't always replacements. Everyone understands because they are in broadcasting. How dare you say those things? I'm done. It is sad to miss a loved one's important event, but people have to work. However, rehearsal dinners are not the same as the wedding itself. That's right, because this is just the rehearsal dinner. And, you know, not to downplay the importance of the rehearsal dinner, but like, if they could not come, and assuming they tried their best to do so, maybe tone it down a little. Bridezilla thinks the wedding is all about her and doesn't respect her groom's opinion, then throws a fit when people call her out. If I close my eyes, I don't have to see or acknowledge it. But I have to, because I need content. Yeah! Am I the only one who has an SO who is such a prima donna? Probably not. My fiance changed our first song for whatever reason. We disagreed on the music that they're playing for cocktail hour. He didn't like how our invitations turned out, and we even argued for hours on what song should be for the cake cutting. I just can't. LOL. His mom and I agree on everything, but he's like, it's not my vision. Everyone knows that it's about the bride, not the groom. He's half the affair, you wench. Like, it's not all about you. I get that it is. It is about you and your wedding. But are you marrying yourself? No. Like, for my wedding, honestly, my husband didn't really care that much about certain things, but I still asked anyway and still, like, wanted his input because I cared about his input. Like, honestly, most of the time he was like, yeah, sure, whatever. But I still wanted to ask because, like, it's still half his thing. And that should totally be respected. It's not only about you. I told him to stand at the altar and look pretty. Go look pretty. But he's very opinionated when it comes to our wedding. I wonder why he has opinions about his wedding. I've only had one Bridezilla moment. Sure. And it was because the straps on my wedding dress are too narrow, but I'm not going to do anything about it because I'll be wearing a shawl for the reception. He also argued about wanting the photographer to take getting ready pics at the grand exit, but it costs extra and he's like, I don't care, it has to be done. Yeah, hun, let's pay another $1,500 that we don't have.
You guys stink!
I finally told him, no, we're not doing it. I can't imagine what my pregnancy is gonna be like, LOL. You might need to have some conversations with him before you go through with this wedding. This boy is gonna be the death of me. So is this story for me. He also wanted my wedding band different because it's too plain, but I'm like, dude, my engagement ring has diamonds on it. I don't want it to be showy. Don't even get me started on my engagement ring.
LOL.
She's definitely being Bridezilla, but it sounds like he's also being toxic. Again, maybe have a conversation before you get married. I'm leaving this group because most of y'all are a bunch of biscuits. Y'all can't take jokes. My fiance knows that I love him, and I'm more than happy about the fact that he's involved, but when he pushes me out of the way to make the decisions is when I have a problem with it. Y'all say just let him be involved, but he is involved. It's me that's getting pushed to the side. The original post was asking if my fiance is the only one who does this or if your SO does this. I joke with him all the time and say just show up and look pretty. He thinks it's funny, I think it's funny, and his mother thinks it's funny. It's not being malicious, it's joking around. Grow the F up. Whoever created this group really should take it down or delete people because y'all are a bunch of bullies. They both sound exhausting. They need to have some serious conversations. They keep changing things on each other and don't appear to agree on anything. I feel like her strap size was probably the least Bridezilla thing she did in planning too. Bridezilla and Groomzilla, the both of them. Great! They're both Zillas! Honestly, the whole joking just sounds like intense passive aggression from unresolved issues you clearly have with each other. Go get therapy, please! Maybe don't get married. Definitely everyone's sexier. They both sound insufferable. There's also the issue of how they got far enough to be planning a wedding without learning how to resolve disagreements. I really want to know the story behind that relationship. There's probably a fair amount of dysfunction. Like, yikes, dude. Spotted this morning. Bride is appalled that her bridesmaids were inconsiderate enough to get pregnant. Is it wrong of me to upset that 2 of the bridesmaids are pregnant and due the month of my wedding? Unless they both honestly are genuinely trying to overshadow you and it was a whole plan they concocted to get pregnant at the same time so that they could give birth during your wedding month. Unfortunately, it may be wrong. I don't think you can be that upset. You may need to reflect. I feel like I have no right to tell people they can't have kids for my one day,